What's up with you, family? Very first video, I'm happy to admit, we out here. Today is July 27th, Sunday. It's a beautiful day. It's a hot day. I'm sweating. I'm burning up. And I'm finishing out my 2 miles. Actually, I'm a little bit over 2 miles right now. It's funny, I just ran my fastest mile today, just under 10 minutes. I'll post it here in the video soon. Let's talk about that first time. First time I ever ran my first mile, right? Completed it. Not the fastest, not the most efficient, but it was my first mile. Thank God for that. So I started this run journey about 3 to 4 months ago. And the reason I did it is because I wanted to lose weight. There is no other reason. I wanted to be healthier. I wanted to be in better shape. You know, almost about 9 months ago now, I had a child. It's been a blessing. And I'm in my 30s, so, you know, I want to be here for a long time, as much as I can with my children. You know, I think my son was a little bit part of that reason that sparked this kind of drive in me. But I couldn't even run a single mile when I first started. I couldn't even run a half a mile. I think I ran about 0.4 of a mile and stopped. That was my limit. That was my mental limit. I'm gonna say that, because I hadn't grown the mental toughness or the physical toughness to actually get through running a mile. And today, Sunday, July 27th, just so happens I ran my fastest mile today, just under 10 minutes. And I'm gonna post my very first run to my most recent run to date. And I just want you guys to see the improvement. It's only been about 3 to 4 months that I've been on this journey. And I think I wanna say the very first month that I ran, only ran 2 days out of the month, the last 2 weeks. Then the next month I ran 4 days out of the whole month. Ran 1 day out of each week that second month. That third month, but the consistency built, the drive built, and everything, you know, took it from there. So if you're struggling to make your first mile, don't trip. What's important to do is to get out there and show up every day. That was never me making it my fastest mile, my most efficient mile. You know, when I did it, when I ran my first mile, it wasn't the fastest, it wasn't the most efficient, it wasn't the most glamorous. It was none of that. It was dirty. It was slow, you know. But what's slow? Slow is all relative. So it is what it was. It was a blessing to complete it when I first made it. And it took me probably about a good month to a month and a half to actually make it to my first mile. No, I'm sorry. For when I first ran, it probably took 3 months, but that's because I wasn't being as consistent. But once I started running about 3 to 4 times a week, consistently doing 1.5 to about 2 miles every run, shooting to complete. So my goal after I got going and you know, really started getting into it and becoming consistent with it, I wanted to complete 2 miles every time I ran, 3 to 4 times a week. Don't matter if I walked the whole thing, don't matter if I ran the whole thing. Guess what? I couldn't run the whole thing because I could barely do a mile at the time. But as my stamina increased, my mental toughness increased, eventually I was able to run a full complete mile. And you know, I looked on YouTube, like you guys maybe doing a bunch of research, getting into this, learning about marathons, this, that, and the third. I did a bunch of research and it really got me in the groove, honestly. YouTube really got me in the groove of just really, you know, getting submerged in the culture of running. And it's a crazy culture out there. And it's a lot of crazy and amazing people that do amazing things, that run 10K, 5Ks, 3.1 miles, that run 10K, 7+ miles, that run marathons, 26 miles. And I couldn't even do 1 mile. That is people that run over 100 miles, 100 miles. And I couldn't even run 1 mile. I was so confused at the whole situation. Fully, not even the fastest. I couldn't do 1 mile fully consistently with constant movement. I would have to stop and walk. When I found that out, I said, nah, something ain't right. And so I think that competitive edge and drive kind of drove me to, you know, wanting to better myself, challenge myself. Now, these days I'm running close to 3 miles. Not always completely through, because, you know, as you learn about running, all your days can't be the same. But that's something, if you just getting started out, that you'll learn. But my max was 0.4 miles at one point in time. But if I didn't do that first 0.4, I wouldn't have made it to where I'm at today. And I'm hoping that I continue to have the mental capacity and this mental toughness to keep going, because I want to see how far I can take it. I do want to run more miles. I do want to become more fit. And let me say that start there too. When I first started running, I was dancing around 240 pounds, around 240 to 244 pounds, somewhere around there. After about 3 or 4 months of consistent running, trying to watch my diet, you know, doing these things, I'm now sitting at about 225, 224. You know, I've done some fasting, done some fruit fast, done some complete 24-hour no food fast. You know, once you start running and start engaging your body in that way, you want to do other stuff to help fuel and improve what you're doing now for yourself. So you naturally, once you start running and losing weight and want to be efficient, you're going to want to eat better. You're going to want to watch your calories. You're going to want to eat cleaner. You're going to want to get friends and family and loved ones involved. You know, this is my first video. It might be a little rough. I apologize. I know the quality is going to be better in the future, but that's how I felt about my runs when I first started. To myself, I said, hey, I apologize, body. I know it's going to be rough right now, but it's going to get better quality and better for us in the future. So my name is Nico. I couldn't even run a full mile when I first started. I think when I first ran my first mile, my time was about 14 minutes. Guess what? I don't care. I don't care what it was, but I got it done. So with that being said, guys, peace and positivity to y'all. If you're running your first mile, get to it. Love y'all. Bless y'all. Peace.